I awake the next morning to a letter from Hieronymous. Who is saying these things to you? Well, that wasn't a letter so much as a note, but I can't help but shoot back a quick reply of my own. No one. Everyone. Does it matter? I slumped back in my chair with a defeated sigh. How long was it going to be until I got a reply to this one? The last time I sit bolt upright as I realize I got another letter almost immediately. Tori, this is serious. Are you actually being bullied, or are you just trying to get my attention? I opened my mouth and shut it again. He thought I was lying about being bullied? Surely, if he remembered anything about the rumors and gossip I had to endure at Iris Academy, he would know that I didn't need to make something like that up. But to accuse me of it? Whatever. I rip up the letter and throw it away, mostly so that way I don't have to look at it again and mentally try to dissect it syllable by syllable later. How dare he? My last letter had been brash, sure, but I was upset. It was an obvious grab for attention, but maybe I wouldn't need one if he would just communicate with me more. I walk over to the bed and plop down on my stomach. What more was there to say to that? It was suddenly very clear what Hieronymous thought of me. I was just a child crying to get him to pay attention to me. He was busy, and I couldn't last a few months off by myself. It would hardly be any time at all until Thanksgiving break, and at least I'd get to see him then. Why did I need to blow up now? I glanced up suddenly to realize that I had gotten another letter while I was pouting. Part of me hopes it's Hieronymous, but more realistically, it's probably just a letter from Virginia or Beige with coincidental timing. I don't want to get up and look, but even so, I find myself dramatically rolling myself out of bed as I literally drag my body over to the desk as I plop down in the seat. I open up the letter and recognize Hieronymous's cursive almost instantly. This isn't a note, though. This is a letter. A full-on letter. Tori, I haven't slept in 2 days, so forgive me if I don't have time for pleasantries. There are many people to meet with, and the travel required between them is taking up so much of my time and energy that I'd rather be supervising Mr. Danson in detention every Saturday for the rest of my life than succumbing to this bureaucratic nonsense. If people are bullying you, ignore them. I know you are struggling being away from the other world for so long, and that is my fault. I am supposed to be caring for you, and yet I let you go off to London by yourself. Tori, I cannot tell you how frustrated I am. I cannot put it into words. I miss your smile, your laugh. I miss the spools of thread your socks leave all over my laundry and the blue hairs I am constantly picking off of my cape. I miss the way you whimper my name when I'm done fucking you, and I miss the way you ask for 5 more minutes in the morning when you know I'd spend every second of the day with you if I could. I always thought your childish antics would drive me crazy, Tori, but your absence in my life is like a constant nightmare of its own. I can't say if things will get better once you graduate, but I am trying to do as much as I can now so I don't have to be parted from you again. So, if I don't answer you, it's not because my affections have faded. It's only the opposite. For every fraction that my love for you has multiplied, my time has decreased by the same amount. If there is anything I can say to you, it is this. Thanksgiving is a very short ways away, and we have things to discuss then. Right now, know that you are there for a reason. I am counting on you, Tori. Open eyes, open ears. Always, your Hieronymous. I sit there and reread the letter a second time. A third time. Tears are dripping down my red cheeks, but I am deadly quiet. In fact, the whole school seemed to have fallen silent, as if a heavy curtain had descended and separated the school from the rest of the world. Hieronymous did care about me, and for a moment I almost felt selfish for considering leaving him to lead my own life in America. He was working this hard so that he would actually get to spend time with me when we could actually spend it together, and here I was just moping about his lost company. I had no idea how difficult things really were for him, but he said that he would talk about it. Maybe now that I was in training to become a proper lady in society, he would actually fill me in on what he expected of me as his Viscountess. My move here had all been done so quickly, and maybe he wanted to fill me in and just didn't have time. Then again, the last line of the letter stood out to me, and I suppose he had been as vague as possible for a reason. Of course, he couldn't say it outright in a letter that could be intercepted, but he couldn't at least give me a hint as to what I was supposed to be on the lookout for. Maybe it was just a ploy to keep my attention focused on something other than my misery, but maybe there was something else to it too. Right now, know that you are there for a reason. Aloysius had brought it up during Christmas break. I had apparently been accepted back in March, even though I hadn't even discussed it once with Hieronymous. And then, after I had been expelled, that was exactly where Potsdam had sent me. Maybe they were using me to infiltrate the school, but if I really was supposed to be a spy, shouldn't I be informed as to what I was trying to look for? What good was a spy without a target or a mission? I know I can't sit around and brood about Hieronymous all day, so I asked Mariette to ask Ermengarde to hang out later that afternoon. I did not trust Lavinia at all, given her mercurial moods lately, and Jessie so often hung around Lavinia that it made me difficult to trust her as well. All the other girls seemed to avoid Ermengarde, which was exactly why I wanted to spend time with her now. "Thank you for inviting me to tea," Ermengarde says as she sits down on the couch. I just shrug. "You know you're always welcome." "Yes, but I still appreciate it," Ermengarde continues. "I don't think I should stop thanking you when you do nice things just because you've done them before and I've thanked you before." "I like that," I say as I stir my tea. "That's sweet." I look down at my tea and realize that the sugar had completely dissolved. Just like with Ermengarde, sweetness was not a thing that could be seen. Most girls judged her because of her size, but I would rather be friends with her than someone like Lavinia. "Ermengarde, do you know why Miss Minchin treats me differently?" I ask. I know I had brought it up with her before, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. I feel like she praises me every day, whether it's for being so quick finishing up lessons, or even just complimenting me on my hair or my smile. "But you do have a nice smile," Ermengarde says. "And you are quick to finish your lessons, more so than any of us. Everything she says is true." "Maybe," I say with an idle shrug, "but I don't feel like I'm any more special than anyone else here. Everyone has their own unique talents. She just singles me out more than most." "I guess that's true," Ermengarde says. "Maybe she's hoping that your husband has the acquaintance of lots of nice bachelors." I can't help but giggle. "You mean she wants me to find her a wealthy husband?" "Perhaps," Ermengarde replies with a smile. "Perhaps she will ask you to speak to your husband on her behalf. Maybe she will expect you to say, 'Oh, dear husband, Miss Minchin was ever so kind to me. We should improve her station at once.'" We both giggle together until Mariette comes in to brush my hair. As I sit in front of the mirror, I can't help but look pensive. It's something that Mariette picks up on immediately. "Are you feeling homesick again today, mademoiselle?" she asks. I am and I'm not, I decide. When I first came to this school, I was leaving my home and my friends and my husband behind. I thought that I would always be miserable staying here, that I would always have to put on a brave face. I still miss everyone at home, but I'm learning a lot here, and I'm learning a lot about other people, and I think I'm starting to make friends here. Mariette makes a hum of acknowledgement in the back of her throat. "But I'm not going to continue to be a student here for much longer," I continue. "What will you do when I'm not a student anymore?" "Ah, mademoiselle," she sighs. "When you are not a girl, you will be a lady. And when you are a lady, you will still require a lady's maid. A lady is always in need of trusted hands to style her hair and mend her dresses. A lady needs someone with an eye for fashion to choose her jewels and show her off to the world." "And you would stay?" I ask her. I know before you mentioned that you'd rather be tending to me than a gentleman. I assumed that meant you liked working here, at the boarding school, as opposed to somewhere like Hieronymus's house. Margaret smiles as she shakes her head. What I meant was that I was more pleased to be your servant than to serve a gentleman. Servant? I blink at her. I don't think you're my servant. You take care of me, but you're also, like, my friend. Margaret smiles and sighs as she shakes her head. So, will you stay? I ask as I look up at her. After I graduate and move to wherever I'm off to next? As long as you need me in your service, I will stay, Margaret replies. But you should not worry so, ma petite. You will give yourself wrinkles. I can't help but giggle. Don't laugh. That also crinkles your face. She taps on my nose gently. No smiling. Still face. Still face. I can't keep it still when you're making me laugh, I remind her, and she clicks her tongue disapprovingly. Perhaps I am no good then, she decides. I shall have to be more gloomy. No, you are very good, I tell her, and I'm really lucky to have you. And I you, she replies.